Guys, it's finally happening. I'm doing my collection video, my first ever one, and it's the first part of three. I will start with what you see behind me, which are the graphic novels, the alternative press, the underground, the indie, the auteurish stuff first. And for all the other guys who are more interested in this here behind me, this is coming up probably next week or the week after. So bear with me, and maybe I can get you interested in some new things first. So let's just start. Um, so this is. I will do the slow pan over all the stuff that I will be featured today. Of course, I can't talk about every book. Far from it. I will pick out a few of them, and if you see anything that you want me to talk more specifically about, just write it in the comments, and I will try to answer you. So let's start here. Those are anthologies. Anthologies are a great way to sample new artists. This is why I buy them, especially indie stuff, where, you know, there's a lot of up-and-coming young artists who first publish in anthologies, because nowadays, you know, there is not much of a scene for monthly comics from underground artists or from indie artists. So it's all graphic novels and anthologies. Those are some of my favorites here. The best American comics, those are compiled every year or curated by, you know, really good and famous and capable people like Alison Bechdel, Neil Gaiman, Linda Barry, and so on, Harvey Picard. Yeah, those are really, really great. They're not very expensive. I will just pick one out and show it to you. The 2012 edition by Françoise Molly, who I think is the wife of Art Spiegelman and an artist in her own right. And it's a hardcover book. And it's always a very good mix of, you know, more classical storytelling, art comics, underground stuff. Yeah, all kinds of different things you could call comics. Like I said, not every edition is the best ever, but it's almost impossible not to discover something that you will enjoy and that you can explore further on. Okay, those are the Moem anthology released by Fantagraphics, which features a lot of artists who release on Fantagraphics. Same here with Throne and Quarterly Showcase, some top shelf stuff, and this is also very nice. I want to show it to you. It's Drawn and Quarterly, 25 years of contemporary cartooning, comics, and graphic novels. This is an introduction, of course, to the great work that Drawn and Quarterly has done over the past 25 years. They're a Canadian publisher, but they also release a lot of international and American authors, or how should I call them? Cartoonists, probably. And this is like part history book, part, you know, anthology, and it's just a great way to get into indie comics. If you're interested in doing that, this is your entry point. It's $50, but you can get it far cheaper online, and it's a beautiful book. Totally recommendable. All right, let's move over to, you know, more. This is some more anthologies. The Big Books by Paradox Press, a DC imprint from the 90s. They were doing. Let me show you some, because They're not very well known, and maybe you're interested in those. The Big Book of, and they have different themes. This one is thugs, and so they have like a lot of little stories, urban myths, you know, just historical stuff on thugs. You know, if you like thugs, this is a book for you. If you like, you know, the unexplained or the weird Wild West, it's a nice thing to have, you know, on in your toilet if if you take a few minutes to get into a story and then you're done. It's a good thing. Okay, let's move over to some more serious stuff. Will Eisner. Those are like my Will Eisner books. Will Eisner has a special place in my heart because it was him through whom I got into more, you know, comics more oriented towards mature readers. I mean, after all, he's the guy who coined the term graphic novel. So I guess it's totally viable to read him today still. And this is the Contract with God trilogy, which is really nice. This one I read in German. It's autobiographical. It's on his Jewish upbringing in New York, and it's very touching and nice. I haven't read those in a longer time. I can't tell you how I feel about them now, but I remember that I was really impressed when I first read them. And obviously the art is really, really great. So this would be like, if you're interested in Will Eisner, aside from The Spirit, which is more like genre stuff, if you're interested in his graphic novel work, this is a great book. It's by W.W. Norton, and I can see the price point, but you can look it up on the net. You're clever, right? Okay, so we have some Art Spiegelman, Kim Deitch, who I also really like, James Sturm, who I think you could say is a little bit of unofficial son of Will Eisner. He's not very well known for whatever reason. I don't know why, because I think he's a fantastic artist. This is the Golems Mighty Swing. It's also a three-parter. It's, you know, this hardcover book compiles 3 stories. And this is the Golems Mighty Swing, the first thing that I read by him, and I liked it very much. He's also a very, you know, humanist. He's a humanist. It's all about people and their relationships. And you can also see that he's a great draftsman. So if you've never read anything by him, again, this is a great entry point. James Sturm's America. We have Richard McGuire. You know that I love him. I made a video on here, this graphic novel here. Then further on to Humanoids. I think this is probably a bit better known. It's a French publisher which has an outlet in the States and who releases a lot of European stuff in different formats. They have those really, really nice oversized hardcovers, and they have those smaller ones which I think are a bit frustrating, I have to say. I mean, they're very, the price point on those is very acceptable. Let me check. I think $40. But you know, I read the Incal in this format, and it was a frustrating thing to do. As you can see, there is some amount of text going on here, and you know, compare like my fingers. I mean, I have thick fingers. You would say in German, Wurstfingers, but still, this is so fucking small, really. I mean, I already need glasses for reading, but this was still a pain in the ass. And also, I mean, if not Moebius work, what other work deserves an oversized format? And it's just not available. It's just not. I mean, it is for crazy prices, which I'm not willing to pay. So this is the only way to get it in English. So I'm thinking about buying it again in German, just to have it in a bigger format. So yeah, having said that, having been bitching about that, I think they release a lot of great stuff. Mainly by Jodorovsky, and some stuff by Moebius, and some just good fantasy and Western stuff from Europe. And here I have some German, I mean, not German content, but German language content. It's all, I think, French or Belgian. Yeah, this is the stuff that I'm right now getting into. So I won't tell you too much about it. I will just show you the format. You can see, like, compared to this here, this is like the European format. And if you shrunk it, you will lose a lot of the experience, especially because European comics tend to have, like you can see here, much more panels on one page. And if you shrink those down, and you have all those dialogue going on and all those little panels, and everything becomes so crowded that it's just not worth it. So this is why I decided that if I want to read European stuff, I will buy it in German from now on. It's just more convenient. All right, oh my god, 12 minutes already, and there's so much more to go through. I think I will be, speed up a little. So here we have some more new indie books. I will particularly point out Simon Hanselman's stuff, because I love him. I think he's fantastic. Megahex is one of the funniest and also kind of existential comics that I read in the past few years. It's both. You can read it as a stoner, generation millennial. What are we gonna do with our sense of what you call it, existential angst, maybe, or just this thing that you don't know what you're supposed to do, so you just wait for something to happen. And but this sounds much more intelligent than what you're reading. The reading experience is just fun. It's just cool stuff, and it's fun, and it's modern, and it's quirky, and you should check it out. Simon Hanselmann. More and more stuff. And here's also a favorite of mine, Sam Alden, who I also like to feature for a bit, because Sam Alden is very unknown. Sam Alden. You should remember his name, because I think he could become one of the great modern artists. I think he's a fantastic artist. He can draw like I don't know how many people I would compare to him. His versatility is fantastic. I think he's working in animation, and he really has a very tight grasp of when to condense time, when to become more detailed in his art, to stop time, to stop your focus, and when to become more abstract and loose, and just let you fly through the images. And he's a great storyteller through images. He uses, of course, some. The first one is almost, I think, without words, but the second one is with words. But he doesn't rely on explaining through words his story. The story lives through the images. You get to know those people and their lives and their conflicts through experiencing those beautiful drawings. And he has a second book here, New Construction, 2 more stories, which are equally fantastic. So big recommendation from me. All right, let's move over to the Canadian department. I have talked about Chester Brown in a special I did recently, so I will skip that. I have here some Joe, Matt, and Seth, Canadian colleagues of Chester, and also Adrian Tomine. You're probably aware of him. If not, he has released quite a body of work, but I would say if you want to get into Adrian Tomine, just start with his latest, Killing and Dying, which is, like you can see, a beautiful book, even more so on the inside. His art is really fantastic, and he's just a very, very capable storyteller. He could be a novelist. It's just by chance that he's making graphic novels, and he's also a masterful, artist, but he's also equally a very good storyteller. So check him out if you haven't yet. Killing and Dying, I think, is one of the best books of the last year. Here is more almost randomly assorted stuff. Graphic novels, mostly coming of age, a bit, teenage girl stuff. Haven't read too much of those. I think my girlfriend has read more of those. But this one I liked, by the Tamaki siblings. It's a nice, coming of age, one summer on the countryside story, and it's cool. Same goes for Shoplifter, which I enjoyed, but I have to confess I can't remember too much of it, only that I liked it. And let's just move over to the next thing. Here I have Linda Barry stuff. I just read What It Is by Linda Barry, and I was blown away. I will do a special on that soon, so I bought some more. Jason Lutz, Jeff Lemire, Dylan Horrocks, Rob Fulmer, Paul Pope, Peter Begg, all artists who I really respect and enjoy, and maybe not absolutely love, but think are really worth to be checked out. Here's stuff which is a little bit closer to my heart. This is stuff by Dash Shaw. I haven't read New School, but those two were really cool, especially, and I will show you this for a bit because it's just so fucking crazy. Bodyworld, in a very weird format. This is the reading format, as you can see. So don't turn it around, it won't work. It's like this. And I couldn't even try to explain to you what this is about. Let's call it a high school experience. No, it's more like a split personality experience when you're reading it, because it's written from different perspectives and angles, and there are so many techniques used in it. You really have to get into this whole madness. But if you do, you're being rewarded, because this is a completely unique way of telling stories. And you should just be careful. Don't take any drugs before reading this, because after that you could just lose any kind of relation to the real world. It's that insane in a very, very good way. Anders Nielsen, I've talked about Dogs in Water in a video, and I also really loved Big Questions. I think it's a great piece of art. Haven't read Rage of Poseidon, but I guess it's equally cool. Here's stuff by Jeff Nicholson, Through the Happy Trails being one of my all-time faves. I will do a special on this at some point, because it's very unknown and it's very good. Here's a little Israel corner with the Hanukkah brothers and Rutu Modan, who I also like very much. Some more stuff I like. And let's move over to some more European stuff by David B. or David B. We have Brecht Evans, we have Jason, we have Louis Trondheim, we have, maybe I will pick this out. because it's easily available in the States, by Frederik Peeters. It's called Aama, and it's a crazy science fiction story. If comparable, I don't know, it's hard to compare it. It has a bit of a saga vibe to it in the way that it's similarly entertaining, but also intelligently written. But I would say this is a bit more serious than Saga is. And the characters, in my opinion, of course, are a bit more fleshed out. I enjoyed the first 2 volumes very much of Aama. And as you can see, the artwork is great. I haven't finished it yet, but I will soon. And maybe I should talk about it then. Okay, now we go into more classical territory. Those are like European masters, Enki Bilal, the Shootin' Peeters series of mysterious cities. We have Corto Maltese by Hugo Pratt. We have Manara. We have Tardi. So it's hard to just pick out one. I think those I will need to do specials on every one of those great artists. Yeah, I will just skip them. I know it's hard because they're probably, they're the what Will Eisner is for the States. Those guys are for Europe. They're just the masters. But the video's already at 20 minutes now. Okay, we have here Dan Clowes and Charles Burns. I mean, Dan Clowes, I don't think he needs a big introduction. He's one of the most well-known cartoonists. I did a video on Clowes' Patience. I would say basically everything that he made is recommendable and it's a good entry point. But if you're more advanced or you're thinking about getting something special, I can totally recommend this thing of beauty here. It's the complete 8-ball. It's 2 hardcover volumes. Let's see if I can get them out with one hand. Sorry. And yeah, it is what it says it is. All the 8-ball issues in a hardcover edition. The binding is a bit too tight, I have to say. You can see it here. It's you need 2 hands to read it properly. But of course, it's really nice to have everything that Dan Clowes released in, single issue format, collected in this beautiful edition. And I imagine that this will go out of print at some point. So if you're thinking about it, I can recommend it. Though I told you the binding is not the best. The production value for everything else is astounding. It even has, let me show you that, on the inside of the slipcase there is even more art. So yeah, it's really cool. All right, let's continue. Here I have some more European stuff. I told you a little bit about 13, the Secret Agent series. And there is more stuff here by Marc-Antoine Mathieu and Marcel Larsenet and Manuel Fior. And let's move over to American stuff. The Hernandez brothers. I still wasn't able to get into Love and Rockets. I'm sorry to say that. But I really enjoyed what I've read of Gilbert Hernandez solo works. Yeah, so if you need a little, if you have like 25 minutes time and you want to read a fun little story, I can recommend Loverboys. If you have ever watched a film by Almodovar, this is a condensed pop version of it. It was really fun. I just read it recently and It was cool. Scott McCloud also needs no introduction. His his comics on comics are very well known, and I think they're fantastic. His own storytelling is okay. I think the sculptor was pretty good, but not fantastic. I wasn't the biggest fan. Here I have some noir stuff. Let's move over to this thing here. This is Alan Moore. Also needs no introduction. Lost Girls, V for Vendetta in black and white, oversized in German. Surprisingly, I wasn't taken too much by it. I know it's supposed to be like the best thing he ever did. I don't agree. I think it's from hell. I have this in English and German, and I loved it. And I also love the art on it, which is by Eddie Campbell, who I also really like as a storyteller. So, yeah, what would I recommend by Eddie Campbell as an entry point? I mean, basically everything. Alec is really great, but I also enjoyed Bacchus, which is now getting collected. The second volume is about to come out. Maybe another thing for a special here. Here is Strange Heaven by Gary Spencer Millage, also a great series from the 90s, which I enjoyed very much. Here is more, I would say, stuff you could also read in school. So historical stuff, bios on different famous persons from history, Guy Delisle books, which fall for me into this more, how should I put it? Didactical comics, comics where you can read them and learn something from them. I didn't enjoy Pyongyang as much as I should probably. So I haven't read Jerusalem yet. It's supposed to be better. Persepolis, obviously a great comic. And some more stuff here. Oh, now we move over to German language stuff. It's not a lot. German language graphic novels. Are those here? Uli Lust, maybe a bit known in the States. This book of hers was released by Fantagraphics and got rave reviews, and it's also really good. One favorite of mine is Aisha Franz. I think her book Alien was released in the States, which is nice, but her new one is really, really good. So look out for that. I'm pretty sure it will get released soon. Shit is real, and yeah, it's really good. It's very contemporary. It deals with relationships in a, I would call it magical realism way. The art is really, really good. It's a mix of, more a naive style paired with a realist take, and then it gets into more fantasy like states. So yeah, it's a nice journey through Aisha Franz's head, and I can really recommend it. I liked it very much. This was a dedication to my girlfriend. All right. Here we go with some more stuff from John Porcellino, who is a very special artist. He's doing mini comics, and those get collected by Drawn and Quarterly from time to time. And they're very, very simple. The stories are very mundane, kind of boring in a way, but I like it. They're very clean and clear and pure, and I like that. Mimi Pon, haven't read it yet. Supposed to be really good. Yoshirimo Tatsumi, who's a big influence on Adrian Tomine. He's also doing the design on those. This is why they look so beautiful. And I read a bit of it, and it's pretty good. Paul Hornschemeyer. This is a great book here. If you haven't checked it out, Ross Chast. Can't we talk about something more pleasant? It's about coping with the fact that your parents are getting old, and it gets even worse from there. So it's quite depressing, but also enlightening, and it was really, it had a big impact on me when I read it. It's really, really, something that you can give out to people, and even if they don't like comics, it's not a classical comic. However, it's something that everyone will kind of, I don't want to say enjoy, but get touched by it. Okay, here we have some archival stuff, a few volumes of Peanuts, a few volumes of the super beautiful Prince Valiant from Fantagraphics by Hal Foster. It's absolutely great. Here is more European stuff. I won't get into that too much because I don't know if anything is released in the States. I know Jeremiah is by Herman. It was released by Dark Horse a while ago. I don't know if it's available yet. Still available. And more stuff here. And I have to shorten this a bit. And more stuff here. This is like secondary literature. I really enjoy reading about comics and comic history. And this is a fun thing here. It's in German, funnily enough. It's about a very weird comic publisher from the, 40s or 50s called Centaur Mystery Comics. And they did those super freakish, horror, strange stuff comics. I read a few of those stories. They're absolutely out there, super crazy. Also very recommendable is this one here. Even if you're not into superheroes or whatever, this is basically also a history on a certain period in American comic publishing. Marvel Comics, The Untold Story by Howe. It's really cool. I enjoyed it very much. Its main focus is the Marvel Balpum of the 70s. And there are so many, background story. I would love to have had a few more photos. You can see it's just text. You want to see your heroes from back in the day. But if you're interested how a comic publisher works, this is a great book. Also, Supergirls by Grant Morrison. I forgot that I had it. I really need to read it. I bought it, read 10 pages, and forgot about it. Good that I see it again. Here I have a few of those really beautiful Ignatz books. They're like, I don't know, maybe we should call them magazines because the format is much bigger than a comic, and the printing is really, really great, and it was a great idea. I don't know if it's sold too well, but I have quite a few of those. I like them very much. And here are some Barry Windsor Smith storyteller magazines. So yeah, that's it. It's a very long video. I hope you got something out of it. I know it was exhausting and I need to rest now. So if you want to know anything else, if you have seen something here in the shelf where you're like, what? Why didn't you talk about this one? Because this I'm really interested in, or this is really great. Or what you have said about this thing is just wrong. Put it in the comments. And I'll be back with more. I'll be back with this part of the collection. It's not that small either. Until then, thanks for watching. Have a good time and bye-bye.